That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, that don't sound right, send us a comment. You're one of us. Like for $5 you could do a shower, and another $1 you'd get a towel. Something like that.
Air drying is free.
Air drying's free.
A towel's going to cost you. Hey, Cecil.
Hey, Peter.
How's it going?
Good.
Hey, it's good to be back here with the TDSR family. And I understand you got a new phone in which we're recording this episode on.
I tried to hang on to my iPhone 7 for as long as possible, but it started dropping calls. And as you mentioned, the new operating system.
iOS 16 is not supported by the iPhone 7 and earlier.
So I now have an iPhone 11.
Whoa, well.
Not all the way up to the 13.
I'd be curious to see if there's a sound quality improvement over the 7, because it should be 4 times better.
TDSR community, you need to let us know if all of a sudden we have sounded better over the last 2 episodes.
Or tell us if we sounded worse.
Or if we sound the same. So I got something for you this week. This is a controversy that I have run into. You know, we've talked a lot about backpacking over the episodes.
Oh, is this part of the backpacking series?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
So, as you know, when you do a backpacking trip, you come off the trail pretty ripe.
Yep.
So you haven't showered or shaved and had access to much hygiene over the days that you were on the trail.
Right.
And so normally you're several hours from home, typically. And so you've got to ride back with yourself and your friends in this state of funk.
With the windows cracked.
With the windows cracked. So I got in the habit of, if we came out near a hostel or a town or an outfitter, if they had a shower available, I would shower.
All right.
Before I got in the car.
Like, what kind of places would have a shower available? So, I know what a hostel is.
Like, we came out in Damascus one time, and the outfitter there, for like $5 you could get a shower.
Okay.
And they had a shower they had a little hostel area where backpackers could sleep, and they had where you could, like, for $5 you could do a shower, and another $1 you'd get a towel. Something like that.
Air drying is free.
Air drying's free.
A towel's going to cost you.
So this is where the controversy starts.
Yeah.
So
towels?
Not the towel, but so I get in one of these showers one time, and there's a bar of soap in the shower.
Oh.
So it's not wrapped. It's just a bar of soap that's obviously been used, because it's about a third smaller than it would be.
Okay.
The writing you've been used enough that the writing is no longer on it.
All right.
So it's a full size bar of soap that's been used. Mm-hmm. So I just shower using that bar of soap.
Okay.
But I've mentioned this to people and have had various reactions of horror and disgust.
Yeah.
That I would pick up a bar of soap. But to me, soap is always clean. You can't get a bar of soap dirty.
Tell me why. Why do you think that? Have you never seen a bar of soap with grunge on it?
I've seen grungy bars of soap, but if you roll it over your hands 2 or 3 times, then it's clean.
All right.
It's self-cleaning.
Okay.
I mean, once you've taken that edge, once you've lathered it, it's in a perpetual state of cleanliness.
So basically, someone has told you, Cecil, that don't sound right.
Many people have told me,
used bar of soap.
Yes.
So I guess I would have to do some follow-up questions to this used bar of soap.
What are your follow-up?
So the first question is, was the soap wet? Was it slimy?
It was dry.
Okay, all right.
It had not been used within the last few hours.
All right, so let me ask you a question then. Then if it had been used, or let's say it had been sitting in a small puddle of water, and it was slimy because you know how soap gets, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't dried out.
Right.
Would you have used it?
I think I would have. Because again, once I pick it up and lather it, it's good. It's self-cleaning.
That's all right. Well, this reminds me of a Friends episode where this came up.
About the soap. Oh, I think of the washcloth.
I thought it was this. I thought it was soap. Was the washcloth?
It was between Joey and Chandler.
Yeah, I thought it was soap, but maybe it was the washcloth.
Yeah. I remember how this ends.
And it ends with him saying, just think of what I wash last
Right.
and what you wash first.
Yes. So you have to,
So you gotta apply that to the soap.
right.
I think the soap thing is, I think there's three things going on. I think there is a psychological element to use.
For a lot of people,
It's a
yes.
psychological.
And the psychological element is why bars of soap are wrapped in hotels. Like, because nobody's going to use a bar of soap.
Yeah, it's unwrapped.
Right.
Which, hotels are going to more and more liquid dispensers.
Yeah.
Which I think is a much better idea. Because
Really?
think about how many bars of soap get thrown out every day in hotels. And think about it.
But think about
they're just going to the landfill.
But the liquid soap, they would probably never clean those things out.
But do you need to, according to what you said?
According to what I just said, but liquid soap though gets like, it's not like a bar soap. Like a bar soap, you could find a bar soap from ancient Egypt. Mm-hmm. And I'd be saying, man, that's ready
You'd still
to go.
use it.
Still use it. But if I found a bottle of liquid soap from ancient Egypt, I'd be like, I don't think.
Is that right?
Yeah, because the liquid soap I feel like can like mildew.
So that brings up to the chemistry question of soap. Right. So soap is generally alkaline, right?
Yes.
Right. So
right.
Whereas when you put something
base, right?
Yeah. So it's basic. So so something acidic, you put it in your mouth, makes your mouth kind of pucker together.
Right. Yep.
But you put soap in your mouth, your tongue just wants to go flat. It's just, but it's alkaline, and so the chemistry question is, can bacteria or mold grow in something that's that alkaline? Or does the change in pH, going from whatever pH it's sitting at, which is usually neutral, to something alkaline, does that inhibit the growth of the bacteria or mold?
I would say yes.
I think that's what's going on there.
Right.
And that's why whether it's a bar of soap or a liquid soap, it don't matter.
Right.
Because it can't grow in that high of a pH. I'm no chemist, and our listeners are nodding in agreement that I am no chemist. But it seems like you have a psychological issue, you've got a chemical issue, but then I think there's a physical issue.
With the bar or the liquid?
With soap in general.
All right, what's that?
So the physical issue is funny. I learned this. I wonder if any of my high school classmates are listening, because they would all remember our 8th grade science teacher, Mrs. Smith, who taught us, and I only remember 2 things. And the first thing was she tried to convince us that salt at McDonald's was round in the shape of spheres, so it would stick to the French fries better.
Really?
But you can't change the molecular structure of NaCl to make it round. It's going to be cute. And even if it was round, why would that make it stick any better to a French fry? So anyway, we have to throw that out. But she also for some reason we talked about soap, and that soap is something that's called, it's a surfactant.
Yes.
And it prevents things from sticking to it.
Yes.
And that's why when you wash your hands, the action of the soap is really lifting things off your skin. Things can't stick to your skin because it's actually being mixed in with the soap.
Right.
And then you're just rinsing it out.
Right.
So the physical thing of the soap is that, like you said, nothing can stick to it.
Right.
Now, maybe temporarily, because if it's kind of lingering there, but like you said, once you get it wet, you get that soap going, nothing's sticking to it, it's going down the drain.
Right.
So if you can get over, to me, if you can get over the psychological issue, the Friends episode part of the soap dilemma, the chemical and the physical got you covered.
Right. Because as long as you don't see the person who used the soap before you.
Well, there again, that's psychological, but it still doesn't.
You don't have to overcome that psychological thing.
That's right. There's a lot of psychological things going on with used soap. I don't think. I think you're all right.
It's been very reactive when this comes up, because some people are just like, I could never in a million years do that. There are people that are listening that I was like, I really didn't. I may have hesitated for a moment. But like you said, once I got past the psychological and got into the surfactant part, I was like, it's clean.
That's right. Smell yourself. You're going to use it.
Right.
After you've been on the trail for a while,
absolutely.
you smell it, you're like, I'm going to use the soap.
Yeah, that's now, yeah, and I was trying to think back to like, I don't think there was like communal bars of soap in our dorm. I think everybody had their own bar of soap, like when I was in the dorm. But we had communal showers.
Yeah, we did too. I'm trying to remember.
But like nobody left their bar of soap in the shower. I don't think.
I don't remember that either.
But like
is there a words of wisdom coming with this?
Yes, there is a words of wisdom.
But it doesn't have to do with the shower and the soap.
Not specifically.
I got you.
We derived it from as we were talking about what the words of wisdom would be. But, women listeners, they probably don't realize, they don't have the communal shower and college experience. That was a guy dorm thing.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because let me tell you what mine was. Like, when I was at Chowan, we just had a big room that had 6 shower heads and no dividers.
Right.
I don't think that's how it is in girls' dorms.
Huh.
Like, and it was at, when I went to Campbell, we had a shower in the suite that had 2 shower heads in a room just a little bigger than a closet.
Yeah.
So technically 2 people could get in the shower at the same time.
Like who's going to do that?
Well, nobody did.
Okay.
But you could.
You could.
But I was like, but I think girls' showers, they just had single showers.
We're really going to have to get some feedback on that one.
Right. I think guys' dorms, they set the bar much, much lower. And because it was, I was never big on the big communal shower rooms.
Shower trough.
Yeah. The words of wisdom, though, for this, we actually came up with it because we didn't like the original words of wisdom, but it's everything in its place, or a place for everything and everything in its place.
Say it again.
A place for everything.
A place for everything.
And everything in its place.
Everything in its place.
Because, like, if you're working on a car, you want to know where things are.
Right. Or if I'm about to cook something in the kitchen.
Right.
I need to know where this is. I need to know where the spices are.
I think for cooking, it's called mise en place. There's I don't know what language that is, but it means everything in its place.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
I got that from the Food Network.
You want to know where your socks are when you get up in the morning.
Right. Yeah.
In fact, you want to know where everything is in your house, so when you're walking around in the dark, you can get to it. This
is actually mise en place, or mise en place, however you say it, is very important in backpacking too. And my daughter Ella was excellent at this. Okay. It was like if she needed something in her backpack, she knew exactly where it was.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things I taught my kids whenever we're camping or in a strange place is before you go to bed, know where your flashlight is.
Yes.
So when you wake up in the middle of the night and you need to look for something, you know exactly, because you got to know your flashlight is, because there's nothing else that's going to help you find it.
Yeah, there was 2 things I always knew where, before it got dark, I would always make sure I knew where my flashlight was and where my toboggan was.
Oh, all right. Okay, yeah.
And so in the dark, I could find those 2 things instantly.
That's perfect.
Because my head would get cold and I would need the flashlight at night.
That's perfect.
Yeah, so everything in its place. So we want to encourage everybody, if you're a listener, to publish us on your social media.
Yeah, just copy the link and stick it in your
Instagram,
in your feed or
Facebook,
whatever.
Whatever, Twitter, TikTok.
It's a bit of an experiment, just to see how much extra traffic we get if people do that more often.
Right. Yeah, we'd love if you did that.
Because I know it seems that just the simple act of me putting it on LinkedIn seems to generate.
Yeah. Oh, it does.
Traffic.
Yeah.
In fact, I've gotten most of my emails from people who have seen us on LinkedIn. We just got a nice email from Brad.
Right. Yeah.
Listener number 3. We'll call him listener number 3.
Yes.
Something he loves to do is to get up Sunday morning before the chaos of the family. He finds this quiet space Sunday morning, and he listens to the podcast.
So that don't sound right.
We thank you, Brad.
Yeah.
And we'll mention when we do the mailbag, we'll talk about the topic you resurrected about worn out tires.
I've noticed a trend among people that listen to us. If it's somebody from your past, they tend to listen to us.
Okay.
If there's somebody from my past, they tend to avoid it like the plague. People from my past are like, I heard enough of him when I knew him. I do not need to listen to a podcast. So if you would do that, that'd be great. And also if you would leave a comment, it also helps people to find us or leave a review. And I've been noticing in the rankings on one of our podcast platforms.
Yeah.
You know what is a very popular subject?
What?
Quilting.
What?
Podcasts about quilting.
What do you mean? We've never done one on quilting.
No. A whole podcast around quilting.
How many listeners they have?
They have more than us.
Oh, man. That's interesting.
In fact, I started following one of them and listening to it just to see what it was about. And they're talking just about
what do they got that we don't have?
Like different types of quilting and the materials they use and how they did it. And they've actually passed us in the rankings.
No kidding.
Yeah, quilting.
Well, good for them.
Yeah, congratulations. It's called A Quilting Life, I think was the one I was listening to.
All right, Quilting Life. What platform is that on?
That was on Podbean, but it was on all of them.
All right.
Because we were kind of like neck and neck, and I would watch their podcast with ours. Yeah,
Where are they out of? Do you know? How fun would that be to do a podcast with them?
Oh, that would be fun.
Wouldn't that be hilarious?
That would be. So yeah, we've mentioned their podcast. I'll make sure I get their name right next time.
Okay.
I'll go back and look. But I think it was called A Quilting Life. It's two. I think one of them owns a quilting shop. So, anyways, you've come to the end of another episode.
It's hard to believe.
That Don't Sound Right. So we encourage y'all to keep talking
and stay curious.